Alright, welcome to episode 60 of Adventures in Between. Today I am looking at a show that I animated on in 2010, Neighbors from Hell. First show I ever used Harmony Toonboom on. Vomit alert.
Pazuzu wants to go to Earth. All aboard the family adventure! Choo-choo! Yay! Come on!
We've had an explosion in our mine in Russia. 500 people are trapped. How do you want to handle it?
Holy faded sheets!
Want to see my big drill?
Yes.
I owe you my life.
And there goes the aforementioned vomit. So, looking at what we have here, the blurred background. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm comparing the final compared to the delivered animation that we gave. Here I animated the little dragon coming in on twos. There was they added more realistic lava in the background there. And then as soon as the camera's moving, then I have the character moving on ones. This is how it looked in the final version. You can see the lava in the background. Pay also attention to the smoke. We'll look at that in a minute. So the camera here is pulling out to reveal the character. This is how it looked in the final version. Now, they actually changed the way the dragon was landing. I had the dragon landing on the feet, and they're going to have the dragon landing on its butt. And it's an interesting change. This is the way that I had it on the feet there. And whenever you've got any kind of hand move, if you need to change that hand quickly, you can just pop it while it's moving fast. Here's the dragon shifted down to be sitting on the perch differently. Yeah, it's a good change, good idea. Now look at the smoke that I animated here. This was all drawn in 2D. And the way that it turned out in the end is they did a very realistic looking smoke, like a simulation there. Yeah, and I didn't even know that till I worked on this 13 years ago, and I just finally saw this last week. So it's funny how sometimes you work on something, you don't see it for a long time. The dragon's mouth is popping closed. You can do that quickly on fast motion as well. So one of the things with Harmony is you get a lot of control. You can do more subtlety than you can do in Flash. And I was learning the program while I was animating here. But one of the things we had to do was the thick lines, thin lines for the outside lines. Another thing was the pendulum style animation on this show. Instead of having anticipation, overshoot, settle, it was all pendulum, easing. We could still squash the eyes when we had blinks there. Big eyes, big mouth. Lip sync carried the day a lot of times. Sometimes that's just what's needed to sell it. You hit a pose and you can hold it there. And I just still remember working with these hands. So here I'm working on the screen left arm, overlapping that, just moving that a little bit first, employing those same animation principles. When I've got a fast move, then I can change the hand. And I don't have to draw a whole bunch of subtle in-betweening hands. I could just pop it quickly. And you can see how the shoulder is skewing here. It's all the same drawing, just taking it and deforming it so I don't have to redraw it every time. Choo-choo, going off screen there. Yeah, if you got some dialogue, do some funny acting to it. This one here, so this is, again, the thick lines outside, thin lines inside. I've got 4 characters here. And what I was doing is I was turning off the visibility for the other characters, working on one at a time, and you'll see why that was created a bit of an issue later on. But focusing on creating a strong silhouette here with the characters. Again, the big eyes. The one character here is entering behind while the other ones are mostly static, so you have them stop, you have some more movement, and then we can pass the ball off to the character who's talking again. Always trying to give the audience a clear focal point. Again, with the hands, I'm coming in here. I don't want to animate a bunch of hands slowly closing. I'm just going to get them closed quickly. Same with opening them up. Just pop them out there. Now, see, this silhouette here was okay, but as I was saying, I was working on the characters individually, so I got a really unfortunate tangent there with the character's head shape matching up to the other character's head shape. Yeah, sometimes these things get through. Deadlines and all. Multiple line colors sometimes. You had to have the light browns for the suit and the light grays for the shirt and the light greens for the head, or the darker greens on the inside of the head color there. And yeah, just a lot of detail when it comes to coloring and painting these. The pointy design on the boss's shoulders here, I remember that was a bit challenging to deal with, to try and keep the silhouette making sense when he's turning around. Zip those pupils. Anytime you got the pupils moving quickly, we're able to move them, make it all cartoony. I'm glad we could get away with that. You know, sometimes you want to blink when there's eye direction changes, but eye darts with stretched out pupils, I can buy that as well. And as they leave, now the camera is going to pan back, changing our focus for the audience here. And you can see how the head is drawn on top of the body there. So it's just the head plunked on top of the body, and it makes it animating the head separately from the rest of the body. This is cutout animation, to be clear. We're using Toonboom Harmony here, but it's still cutout. It's still, the hand is one piece, the arm is a piece, the other upper arm is a piece. Everything is just put together, and you do some drawings. But again, here, look at how this top part of the shoulder doesn't move, but then just this bottom part does move. It animates because one's a held cell, the other one is actually moving. That's how it is with all the cutout pieces. The mouth can move the chin, which is funny because the bottom line of the head doesn't change at all. When you're looking at Balthazar here, his chin can move, and because it moves, we don't want it to move in front of the shirt, so we're going to have it move behind the shirt sometimes when he talks. Popping into the clap here. Whenever we've got a clap, a lot of times I see characters animated like this. It's got to be fast, slow, 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 fast. You got to have that contrast and timing there to sell it. Now, hooking up to the previous shot here, you can see that we've gone to profile now. I remember working with this chair. I was making the chair lower and lower and lower so that Balthazar's could get down out of it because his legs are so short and tiny. Same with the boss here, jumping off. He was sitting on the desk, and he didn't really have much of a butt to sit on the desk with, so I had to kind of cheat that. Get him into the profile walk cycles. We had profile walk cycles, three-quarter walk cycles, so to avoid making a new one, I had to choose one or the other. I went for the profile here, so we have to animate, get into profile. Look at it, here's an example of the cutout here. And not the best cleanup on that one frame there with the wrist not quite matching to the shirt. And walking, and the walk cycle silhouette to the side there. Yeah, it's functional, it's working. Again, this was all learning a new program. Honestly, this project was a bit of a struggle just because I was learning so much at the same time, but that's how the industry is. We're constantly learning, constantly upgrading our skills. Here, moving the cheek, that made, I liked this guy's lip sync because you could move the cheek, you could move the mustache, it was a lot more involved. Again, the head is just plunked on top of the shirt. You can see all these different connection points here. These are all different, I would call them flash symbols, but here they're just different pieces of the cutout. And sometimes you see those artifacts that show that it's a cutout. And that's not a bad thing in my mind. Now here's the vomit alert I was talking about. We're going to have the character leaning forward like, oh, I could kiss you, but then he's going to throw up. We got the head overlap. Now we're gonna dolly the camera back here to give us some more room. The eyes opening up shows us that something nasty is going to happen here. And we've got spew incoming, really trying to bring those cheeks out to create as much contrast as possible and give the audience a little bit of a clue on what's coming. And then all in one frame, spewing out. So gross. Now this here, I've always liked doing 2D effects. So this is an opportunity for me to draw. Yeah, great. Oh, this is cool. I'm going to draw these, crazy shapes. And there's little worms and beans and everything in there. So in the final version, though, they went with the shape, but they wanted to, again, make it more realistic. So they added this texture onto it, which, okay, I had no idea until I just saw this recently. And it's interesting how shows progress, how different ideas all get put together, and how the final product is a combination of everybody's work that goes up until that. That's just a quick breakdown of some animation I did in 2010, Neighbors from Hell. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you next time.